We continue with the relationship of the source points to Sanjiao. Obviously, the brain is another area of increased circulation and communication that classical theory tends to underemphasize. It is quite possible that modern research will reveal that the way information is processed in the brain is influenced more profoundly than previously expected by changes in connective tissues and the fluids associated with them. This would involve an acknowledgement that there is a kind of intelligence in the body itself that is in constant interplay with the brain. While modern physiologists often correctly point out that classical Chinese physiology tends to underemphasize the role of the brain, there may very well be a similar lack of appreciation on the part of physiologists of the importance of the non-organ tissues in regulating metabolism and consciousness. The experience of Chinese medicine would seem to point in this direction. Careful observation does reveal inconsistencies in certain aspects of the theory outlined. For example, why are the source points of the liver, spleen, large intestine, and bladder not located on the ankle and wrist joints? Once again, the answer lies in considerations of form and function. The areas around the large toes, thumbs, and lateral surfaces of the foot use a relatively greater amount of qi and blood than the proximal areas on those channels near the ankles and wrist. In other words, because the joints around liver 3, spleen 3, Li4, and bladder 64 use more qi and blood than the areas on those same channels near the wrist and ankles, the source points have migrated. As evolution may have changed the structure of the human body, so has the movement of qi and blood changed over time. The important thing to remember here is that clinical efficacy guides theory. If the theories cannot provide appreciable benefits in treatment, they should be reconsidered. The use of these points in the clinic over time indicates that they have the ability to stimulate source qi on their respective channels. Observation of the importance of the large toes, thumbs, and lateral surfaces of the feet in walking and grasping is one way that this clinically relevant theory might be conceptualized. So here we have the figure showing us the 4 source points, which are away from the wrist and ankle joints in areas that are more distal on the channel where mobility is even greater. In the clinic, the source points are used almost exclusively for tonification. They have the ability to augment the qi and warm the yang. This is particularly true of the yin channels. In the clinic, the source points of the yang channels have less of a strictly tonifying effect on the respective organs. Instead, the source points of these channels strengthen by virtue of their ability to unblock circulation and increase movement. Some yang source points are more useful than others. For example, stomach 42 is sometimes more difficult to use because needling the point often causes pain. Triple burner 4 has a broader application that might be suspected. This point is used very often in some traditions of Japanese acupuncture, particularly the school of Sawada Ken, who advocated the use of moxa on TB4 and CB12 for severe deficiency. In the clinic, triple burner 4 is in fact effective in the treatment of yang deficiency patterns, including tinnitus and cold type shoulder and upper back pain. This is because as the source point of the triple burner channel, the point has a particularly strong stimulating effect on the circulation of yang. By considering the nature of the source points, one can begin to answer the question of why certain source points seem to have such a wide variety of apparently contrasting clinical applications. For example, while it is relatively easy to understand how a point like lung 9 is indicated for lung qi deficiency, it is more difficult to appreciate the mechanism underlying its ability to also tonify yin. Thus, while the point is often used in cases of chronic weakness to treat lung qi deficiency, it is also helpful in relatively acute cases of dry throat or dry cough. The ability of lung 9 to both tonify qi and benefit yin is best appreciated by thinking of the qi dynamic of the lung organ. There, the metabolism of the tie-in system was characterized as fundamentally involving the metabolism of dampness and the generation of nutrition. In particular, the lung organ provides qi from the external environment to facilitate the transformation of dampness and to invigorate the nutritive aspect of blood produced by the spleen. The ability of the lung to benefit yin arises from its capacity to work synergistically with the spleen to produce the yin-nourishing nutritive aspect of blood. By strengthening lung qi with the source point of the channel, a physiological chain reaction is initiated, which has an indirect ability to benefit yin. The dynamic functions of the other source points should be considered in a similar light. For example, the source point of the kidney channel, kidney 3, enriches kidney yin and invigorates original yang. The best way to fathom the precise meaning of these traditional functions is to consider the qi dynamic of not just the kidney, but also of the Shaoyin channel as a whole. This channel is a pivot between the depth of blood storage at Jueyin and the outward opening of Tai-yin. The movement of the Shaoyin pivot provides the stimulus of original yin and original yang to the body. By stimulating a point like kidney 3, one is not actually generating new prenatal qi in the body. Rather, the source point on the kidney Shaoyin channel is used for regulating vital prenatal substances. This means that it is enriching the yin and invigorating the yang by optimizing their metabolism. Thus, kidney 3 can strengthen the kidneys only insofar as it helps to reestablish healthy flow of channel qi to the organ, thereby normalizing its qi dynamic. In this way, the ineffable fine-tuning of understanding that must come from considering the unique qi dynamic of each channel when evaluating the effects of its points begins to take form. The powerful ability of source points to benefit the organs might then be summarized as arising from the ability of source qi to jumpstart the normal metabolism of the organs themselves. This is also why source points must be used in cases of deficiency. When the qi dynamic of the organs becomes so compromised that normal metabolism is impossible, it may be difficult to obtain qi at other points on the channel. It is sometimes therefore necessary to first build metabolism with the source points before going on to regulate the qi dynamic with other points. Thank you for your attention.